Okay, good morning, team. Chapter 18. While the Rostov party's winding on and people are getting tired late into the night, the old Count Bezhukhov, Pierre's father, has another stroke and is near the end of death. And a whole bunch of people start gathering at the Bezhukhovs. The Governor General comes, spends some time with the dying man. Prince Vasili is, of course, there, and there's this whole bustle of people in this sort of large entrance area, or one of the large rooms in the house, just paying their last respects, so to speak, and talking amongst themselves. And Prince Vasili has this really intense, heartfelt, emotional, but pragmatic conversation with the princess regarding the will. And there's mixed emotions here, and I see it both in Prince Vasili and I see it in the eldest princess, and sometimes it comes out kind of with bitterness, with urgency, but with mourning as well, and with sincerity, and reflection on themselves, but also reflection on the dying man. And so there's these, what could be seen as very contradictory or conflicting emotions. They're kind of swirling at this time. And Prince Vasili goes and finds the princess. And the princess says, "What is it? Has something happened? I'm in a constant state of alarm." "No, there's no change. I've only come to talk with you about business." And so Prince Vasili is very pragmatic about this. We have to get this sorted. The princess held rigid and looked directly at the prince with no sign of emotion. She shook her head and sighing, looked at the icons. Her gesture might have been interpreted as an expression of sorrow and devotion, or as weariness and hope of a speedy respite. So, I think all of these are true, right? Sorrowful, devotion, weariness, hope of getting this all over. It's interesting how the human mind can experience all these things simultaneously, thoughts simultaneously, and you see this happening in the princess. "Do you think it's any easier for me?" Prince Vasili said. "I'm as worn out as a post horse. Nevertheless, I must have a talk with you. It is a very serious talk." His eyes, too, seemed different, at one moment looking insolently jocular, and at the next glancing around with trepidation. So there's these conflicting thoughts and emotions, or worry or fearfulness in Prince Vasili too. And he wants to have this talk. "You see, my dear princess," the prince proceeded, apparently not without an inner struggle, "at moments such as these, one must think of everything. One must think of the future and of you. I love all of you, as if you were my own children, you know that." The princess did not alter her dull, fixed gaze. "Do you know," this is Prince Vasili talking, "do you know I have sent for Pierre?" That the Count pointed straight at his portrait and demanded to see him. Prince Vasili looked inquiringly at the princess, but he could not make out whether she was considering what he had just said, or was just staring at him. "The one thing I never cease praying for," she replied, "is that God will have mercy on him." "Yes, quite so," Prince Vasili interrupted impatiently, rubbing his bald head. So he's wanting to get on, like, we don't have much time here. And so they're sort of talking past each other a little bit. "The fact is, as you know yourself, last winter the Count made his will, by which, passing over us, his direct heirs, he left all his property to Pierre." "Well, it's no matter what the will says," the princess placidly stated. "Pierre cannot inherit the estate. He is illegitimate. So the rules, the laws of the land is an illegitimate child cannot inherit." But, said Prince Vasili, suddenly clutching the little table and beginning to speak more rapidly as he became more intent, what if a letter has been written to the Emperor, in which the Count asks that Pierre be legitimatized? You understand that in view of the Count's services, his request would be respected. So the Count, old Count Bezhukhov, he served Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great died rather recently. She ruled much of the 1700s, died late 1790 something. And he was a well-known, well-respected, high-ranking officer under her rule. And Prince Vasili is quite worried about this. But the princess will have nothing of it. Her mind's like, yeah, that's like illegitimate children, they can't inherit anything. What are you talking about? I'll tell you something more, continued Prince Vasili, seizing her hand. Although the letter was written, it was not sent. But the emperor knows about it. The only question is, has it been destroyed or not? And if not, then as soon as all is over, when the Count's papers are opened, the will, along with this letter, will be delivered to the emperor, and the petition will certainly be granted. Pierre will get everything. Still the princess is not convinced. It is clear as day. Prince Vasili's kind of growing animated. He will be the sole legal heir to everything, and you won't receive so much as that. You, my dear, ought to know whether the will and the letters were written and whether or not they have been destroyed. So one of the things he's trying to get from her, he believes she would know where they are, because she's been carrying them for him for days and weeks and months, and Prince Vasily's only recently arrived. And so part of this, he needs Princess on board because he doesn't know where the letter is. And they continue going back and forth in this manner. I came here not to bicker with you, but to talk to you as a kinsman, a good, kind, and true relation about your own interests. And I tell you for the 10th time that if the letter to the emperor and the will in Pierre are in Pierre's favor, you, my dear girl, and your sisters are not heiresses. And if you don't believe me, believe the experts. I've just been talking to Dmitri, and he says exactly the same thing. So this Dmitri is either a lawyer or accountant or something. And actually this is a change in the princess's brain. It kind of clicks for her. And there's a sudden outpouring of emotion. You know, there's this grief mixed with anger, mixed with bitterness, mixed with confusion, mixed with devotion to the old Count. And it's quite an interesting interaction. Do you not know where the will is? The prince asked, his cheeks twitching more than ever. And she's still talking. She's not sort of listening to him. She's kind of like processing her own thoughts. It was all done fortuitously, in a moment of anger, of illness, and then forgotten. Our duty, my dear, is to rectify this mistake, to lighten his last moments, but by not letting him commit this injustice, by not letting him die with the thought that he made those miserable who have sacrificed everything for him, chimed in the princess. And there's this one interesting line. So the princess is starting to kind of, like, again, all these conflicting thoughts in here, mixed with mourning, mixed with Prince Vasili prompting her to think about the will. He says, now compose yourself. I know what a good heart you have. No, I have a wicked heart, she said. You know, this is interesting. It's just this little interjection of how we judge ourselves, not allowing for all these complex emotions to exist at once. Prince Vasili keeps pressing her. Tell me all you know about the will, and above all, where it is, the princess says. It's that protege of yours, that charming Anna Mikhailovna. who I wouldn't want as a housemaid, the detestable, loathful woman. Last winter she stormed her way in here and told the Count such vile, outrageous things about us, especially Sophie. I couldn't repeat them. It made the Count quite ill, and for 2 weeks he wouldn't see us. It was at that time, I know, he wrote that filthy document. But I thought it was of no importance. It's in the inlaid portfolio he keeps under his pillow. I know that, the princess went on. And so Anna Mikhailovna comes in, and there's much we don't know. So obviously the princess, she is very negative opinion of Anna. And there's 2 sides to every story. So you wonder, in fact, has Anna been levering things for Pierre? Like I never thought of that. Or, you know, what's the conflict? It really intrigues me just to hear the story, you know, whose side of each story. Where does this conflict originate from? Because it's more than just this letter. In fact, it seems like it has little to do with the letter itself. The princess is very ill-spoken of Anna. But you can see there's a history of Anna coming to see the old Count as well. So there's things going on that we're just kind of becoming aware of that we don't know all the details of. So this is kind of a little intense and kind of a critical, turning point of just coming out of this just happy, gay time at the Rostovs, and there's this just stark, sudden shift. The Count is dying, and the issue of his will is at hand.